This is a story of love, hope, and art.
Art has brought me closer to God.
28-year-old Luis Peralta puts on an art exhibit. It features his paintings along with works from local, national, and international artists. Luis was born in Nicaragua and came to the States as a child. He grew up in the Columbia Heights neighborhood of the district.
Through art, I can get to see my creator. It gives me a bigger evidence of there is one creator, supreme being that created this whole earth, or else I would not be able to create as he created me. I believe that art should be accessible to everyone, and every art piece that is successful, I believe, should have some type of information or message to convey.
Love, hope, and art is the message of the second annual art show.
Well, this painting came about, I was around DC and I saw a lot of beggars and homeless people. So I decided to do a painting reflecting what I saw and also improvising. So I wanted to do a painting of a beggar who found a blessing. So blessings come in all different shapes and sizes. So I decided to do a very graffiti style shape. Before I started doing fine arts, I did graffiti style murals. So that's where the influence of the shape came. And as you can see, he has like a glow on his face and he seems happy and he's no longer concentrating on what he doesn't have. And here he has a plate. People who place money or food. And the blessing, like I said, is reflecting light. And these three spheres that you see here represent the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Trinity and God.
The gallery room quickly fills up for the exhibit's premiere on March 14th. Visitors gaze on paintings, sculptures, and photography.
Was destined to become, was destined to be an artist. That's a fascinating career.
Tell you what a wonderful show this is. Yeah. Brighter than last year. A little more diversity. The food is great.
Visitors pile up on shrimp and other finger foods. One of those in line is Luis's relative.
Luis is, like I said before, he's like kind of unique. You know, he's hard, if you can see it, you know, he takes very time, you know, of his own, you know, just to do this paint. And you can tell that he like it, you know. That's him right there. He's paint, you know. And I hope one day he's gonna get famous, you know, very famous. And God bless him too, you know.
You'll see each artist has his own creative style. Luis draws his inspiration from faith in God.
I began doing religious works of art around the age of 16. Before that, I used to do graffiti murals. They came to me naturally. A lot of times, I didn't know how I was producing these beautiful works of art without having the training that I should have had at the age of 16. And that led me to believe more in God because I was asking God for His talent and He gave it to me.
Another artist pours out a bit of personal history into his artwork.
Growing up from my grandmother raising me and my great-grandmother in my life and my mother also, I just felt that me personally just needed to pay homage to the black woman. Society owes him an apology. The black man owes him an apology on how they treat him. And that's why I did this picture for America, and it's entitled Apology Accepted.
My work is 4 different photographs from photography that sort of span my career, and I chose 4 particular images that sort of dealt with faith and religion. I mean, we got Cesar Chavez right behind me, and if you look at the image, it's sort of like Chavez, it's sort of like looking up to the heavens. And actually, in this picture, he's breaking his fast.
Basically, what inspires me is the pop culture, and as well as like an international energy of what's going on in the world today, as well as what young people are thinking. So I try to influence all of that within my work. This one is called Bright Eyes, and what it is a little boy who was having a medical experience, what is the word I'm looking for? He was going through a medical transition, and he was scared. But what happened was, once I came in the room, he got a little happier, and then that's why I call it bright eyes.
The art exhibit is very good. Yeah, it's wonderful. I like them very much. So quiet, so pure.
This painting is called the vase of music. And what means the vase of music? I believe in Africa, where I'm originally from, the vase is something sacred.
You said a vase?
The vase.
The vase, like a vase, like a container.
Calabash, exactly.
A calabash.
If you're not into art, or if you don't really know, you should actually experience it. You should come to art shows and exhibits and just feel what's going on inside of these people's work. It's tremendous. It's awesome.
Esta pintura forma parte de la Habana Vieja. Es la parte de la ciudad más vieja que tiene Cuba, de La Habana. Y está hecha de óleo y inspirada en todas mis familias o mis amigos.
This is a painting. It's of the old part of Havana, the oldest part of the city.
Besides the artists and the visitors in the gallery, some people from Luis's past also showed up. Those were his teachers.
I saw a little kid running around. I was trying to get to sit down a lot. That's what I saw. He was like maybe this tall, maybe like a good 4 feet tall, very small for a 7th grader. I had a group of 7th grade kids that I assumed, came from, El Salvador, Guatemala. Some of them knew English just a little bit, and they were just so happy. And I couldn't figure out why, because the school was awful.
What the teacher didn't know, Luis did graffiti. He was taking his artistic talents to the streets, starting out in Nicaragua.
At that time, I was very young, and it was fun. I had some graffiti, friends that we would go out and, tag out the walls, do some trains, but all of that was a stage in my life, and I think they're stepping stones. And I had to mature from that, because if you keep going in that direction, you can only end up in jail or dead.
From there on, he got a scholarship to attend the Corcoran School of Arts and stuck with multiple mentors. Now he's a mentor to the youth, teaching them how to paint in his graffiti style.
I started doing graffiti at the age of 13, and I first started out by tagging the streets. Then I moved on to tagging, the trains. And then while I was doing that, I always thought to myself, there's got to be a way for me to be able to benefit from this than just doing it illegally.
His love for graffiti took a surprising turn. At 16, Luis was commissioned by a fitness company to paint a graffiti mural. From then on, he dreamed of making a serious career out of art.
When I first started out, my main purpose was to be known, to get my name everywhere. And the difference between me and other graffiti artists is that other graffiti artists didn't care about how the way their art looked. Sometimes they just did like 3-minute stuff and they'll leave it, and it looked like vandalism. I was always trying to be very creative. I always used a lot of colors. So when I used to go out and do illegal graffiti, I would have 20 to 30 cans in my backpack. That's about twice as much as any other graffiti artist, because I was always trying to get respect more than just to be known.
Known as a gifted art student. That's how another teacher put it.
He would come to class and he would be very engaged with his work, and he would just paint or draw. He's a master working with color pencil, let me tell you. So I invited him, when I was still at Bell, once he graduated, I think he graduated in 1999, I invited him every year, at least 4 times per year, to go and give a workshop on how to draw with color pencil. So it was wonderful, because at that time he was changing and giving him the opportunity to be a teacher and talk to all these other kids. It was quite enlightening for him to see where he was and where he was getting.
So beating the odds had a lot to do with me just not looking at the logistics of life, and I was just thinking positive no matter how bad things look.
Growing up, Luis faced a tough environment. The teacher remembers some difficult memories.
It was, as a teacher, it was very hard. I went through different moments of mourning with some kids that were killed. Pedro Lopez was killed, and other kids, a couple of my kids, a couple committed suicide. One was gifted and talented, and some of them went to jail.
Will you introduce me to your parents?
The support of family helped Luis get through the rough years, and now his family also appreciates his art career.
Here, my mom and my dad and my cousins were here. They've been very supportive for the last couple of years about my art career. At one time, they were not supportive because one of the things that there's a stereotype about artists and not always being broke and dying broke. But that's a stereotype, and that's something that people usually try to put artists in the box. But every artist is different, and through history, there's been successful artists.
And at this time in our history, visitors to the center can see the love, hope, and art of Luis Peralta. In Washington, I'm Elizabeth Jia.